Hey everybody, it's Barb here. Today I want to talk about all the stuff that we know so far for Season 3, as well as some of my personal predictions and preferences, especially revolving around the class balance. But yeah, there's been some new development here on X. Adam tweeted, I think yesterday, that there is going to be news very soon, including times for the upcoming developer livestream. And yeah, Rod Ferguson also confirmed that there's a lot of great stuff coming here for Season 3. And I compiled like a list of everything we know, every confirmed change that we have, all the like hopes I have. I kept this pretty short because I kept it to like what seems likely. And also like our updated build guide tier list and also the possible changes and predictions that we'll have for it. I'm going to link this sheet in the description of this video so you can check it out and go along with it or just like read it. There's also a lot of links here. So first of all, there is a lot of discussion about the Season 3 start date. And let me tell you, it's already confirmed in the game that it's going to start on January 23rd. It literally says the next season here, I'm live in Diablo, the next season begins January 23rd. There's no doubt about it. This is going to happen, guys. People already took holidays for it and that's it. There is also some, this is like not really confirmed. This is like a leak, so I'm not sure if this is true, but this leak basically, we talked about it before, it is said that the Season 3 has something to do, or is called Dreamscape. We don't know yet. There's also some articles here that picked this up, but I think this is mostly speculation, so this part is unconfirmed. We don't know, like here the leak suggests that Dreamscape should be the title for Season 3. The name corresponds with the thematic changes Diablo 4 undergoes as seasons keep changing. Dreamscape implies a possibility of colorfulness, surreal environments of a post-tradition darkish look for the game. So we don't know if this is true or like what's going to happen there. But so this is, I should probably say, leak question mark. Like we don't know if this is true. So this is not confirmed, but the date is confirmed. Right? Just want to put it out there. And so the season will start on January 23rd, and then Abattoir of Zir will be removed once the season ends. This has already been confirmed by Blizzard as well. It was just a test. I think there was a good learning from this, but there was also a lot of feedback and definitely a lot of things that can be improved for Abattoir of Zir. So yeah, it might make it back into a later game or into later stages of the game, but we were gonna get a lot of new stuff, so that's okay for now. The Melted Heart of Sealing will be nerfed. Like this is the first Uber Unique that is going to receive a nerf. So right now it's only nerfed for PvP, but this has been confirmed here by this blue post that it's going to be nerfed for all the areas outside of PvP as well. So I'm not really feeling like super good about like nerfing those Uber Uniques because they're still super hard to get, and obviously immortality builds are a problem. But in the end, in the end game, like you need DPS and survivability is not really the main focus. But we'll see what's going to go on with like these Uber Uniques going forward. I would just love to see more ways of these dropping in the general game. Then perma Helltide Changes, you already know this. I've talked about it in multiple videos. 55 minutes, it's going to be on, 5 minutes off. Then we have the Gauntlet and the Leaderboards. Like this stuff is coming here. There is like these things that are going to happen here soon. So Barbarian Leaderboards, Gauntlets, group leaderboards for all classes are coming. Yeah, Rod confirmed nerfs coming to Ball Lightning, Sorc, and HotA&Ball. We're going to talk about those in a second. What my prediction is there. Again, I'm not really, in general, I'm not like really a big fan of the nerfs. I think they should fix the bugs that the game has first, and then look at the balance, and then start buffing rather than nerfing, in my opinion. But yeah, this has already been confirmed in a video. I'm going to put that, I mean, you can put that in the sheet as well. And it's going to be in the description as well. I made a previous video about that. There's going to be improvements for gold trading on console finally, and we're going to have more sources of 925 gear. This is like really cool to see outside of Doriel, because right now in the end game you basically just blast Doriel. And then here's like just a few hopes that I have just for future balance changes that will also impact the tier list quite a lot, I think. I think they should fix snapshotting, in particular the snapshotting of the element aspect, the accelerating, the gear swaps, the multiple key passes on the Sorc. These are like, I think, the worst offenders. There's gear swapping and build swapping happening on every character. But I think these are the worst offenders, and I really hope that they will fix this, because this more feels like a chore to the player. Nobody likes it. People on the high end, people on the like, you know, more casual player base, nobody likes this. This just feels bad to do in the game, just like a chore. So I really hope they change it. It's also very unintuitive. Then hopefully they fix the lags and the performance issues. I don't know, lately, especially with Abattoir of Zir coming out and the Ball Lightning Sorc and other builds being so popular. But I've also experienced this a lot on HotA&Ball, where you just like lag. You just go into the game, there's not even a monster, it just starts lagging for no reason, even though the internet's completely fine. This has been going downhill a lot, I feel, for many of you. I heard that as well. And I definitely felt this too, that some servers, some shards just lag, no matter what you do. And then especially also in the big pulls, like the Ball Lightning Sorcerer, for example, is the crazy offender there. It just, like, if you make a pull, especially when they're the damage resistance guys, it just goes completely crazy. So I really hope we're gonna see some changes to that. And then maybe we could see something for the Season 2 mechanic to stay in the game, similar to how they integrated the Season 1 ring powers on Varshan drops. So I think that's a pretty cool solution to have some of these very popular season themes. And Season 2, I think the theme is way more popular than Season 1. So I think it would be great to have a way, especially the Metamorphosis thing. Like if that would be something that is integrated into the game permanently, like whether it's in the form of a unique or, I mean, there's many creative solutions for that. But let me tell you guys, like we're gonna miss the combination of a Metamorphosis plus Tybot's Will so much once it's gone. Like the game does not feel as good. Obviously, it's gonna be a huge change in playstyle and also in builds again, because you have to think about your resources a lot more. Like if you just have like Metamorphosis and stuff, like you see, you dash and you get like 120 Fury. Like it's completely crazy, right? So I don't really know what will happen with that. But if Metamorphosis is gone, and obviously there's bugs with this, but like lots of Empiric powers, I think this was very cool and very well received by the community. And if we just can't turn into a vampire and just like, you know, be unstoppable as well, like you're gonna be like constantly CC'd like all the time. And all this kind of things, like a lot of builds don't have a means to go overpower. So this will be missed for sure. And I think it would be cool to, you know, give up, I don't know, maybe not a ring this time because we already have so many rings. And there's the only place to get resources. But maybe as a utility aspect I could see. Like utility you can put on your helm, you can put on your chest, and you can put on your boots and bracers, I think. So something like this, like, I don't know, making Metamorphosis into a utility, because to me it is a utility aspect, I think. And then maybe some of the other cool, popular powers. I don't know, like one thing that's really cool as well, I think, is Ravenous. This could be made into offensive power on a weapon or something. I don't know, there's definitely a lot of cool things we could do. I think it would be a bit sad just to seeing these amazingly, you know, designed powers completely gone. Obviously, there is some bugs like the Domination bug. But then again, I don't think Domination necessarily needs to stay. I think there's like way cooler powers like the Metamorphosis, the Ravenous, rather than Domination. So yeah, there's bugs there, but whatever. The biggest thing here is the tier list. So we made, if you guys remember, like before Abattoir of Zir release, we made a tier list. And I made a couple changes to this, but overall, the tier list remained the same. I don't think there was too many switches. I think the only thing that I predicted wrong was that Infinimist was the strongest Necro build. I still had my money on Bone Spear, but this obviously changed. So I changed these positions. And yeah, I guess in the end, the Shred Druid is actually the strongest class in the game. But that was to be expected with a very high level glyph in the double dipping. But for the average player, the S plus tier remains just HotA, Barb, and Ball Lightning. And I want to talk about possible changes, predictions here. So this is partially my opinion, but also what I think is a bit realistic and with the information that we know already. Because again, I do not, you know, like to talk about nerfs. I don't like the nerfs in general. I would much rather see them fix some of the bugs. But here's something that I could think is like most likely or likely to happen, basically. So first of all, we have the HotA Barb, right? Like this is the build I have right now. Obviously, this is like a very overperforming build, also in comparison to like all the other Barb builds. Like it goes completely crazy, especially like with the glyph levels and stuff. Attack powers reach crazy highs, and the build is just super strong, especially the weapon switch stuff. So what I could see is a change. Like right now there's a bug many people don't know, where HotA always gets the violent Hammer of the Ancients rune. No matter what you do, you don't even have to do any snapshots. Basically, Hammer of the Ancients has, after you overpower, a free 30% damage multiplier. And that obviously should not be the case. Like, I don't have the rune selected, yet I still gain the damage bonus. And this makes Hammer of the Ancients overperform over every other core skill, one of the reasons. And then the second rune that is also really strong is that Hammer of the Ancients has a separate multiplier of 1% scaling with your Fury. So they should definitely fix the bug, which is Violent Hammer just applies for free, right? You have both of the runes. So that's definitely something I could see them change. I hope they don't do it, but maybe they will mess around with the multiplier. Instead of making it 1% additional damage per Fury, they will tune this down a bit to like, I don't know, 0.5 or 0.75. But I think a better solution is like some generic overpower changes, because the way that we went into this is because they were like changing stuff because everybody was stacking vulnerable and crit. And now, it was in season 1 and on launch, and now this is gone, this is all nerfed, and now everybody is stacking overpower. You know? Like, it's kind of like, yeah, you went away from crit, you went away from vulnerable, and now we're stacking overpower. So maybe there will be some like generic multiplier changes on the overpower, because there is just a lot of separate multipliers for it, and yeah, classes are able to hit like very high. But yeah, this could be like a possible prediction here for the Barb. And then on the Ball Lightning Sorc, we already heard like Rod talk about it as well, Rod Ferguson. I could see them change like the base lightning damage, or like the attack speed scaling. I think slightly adjusting the attack speed scaling would be the most effective, because it will also help a bit with the performance issues. Because right now, it scales like crazy with attack speed. Like, you get more balls and you get more ticks per ball. So having some changes there with the way it works with attack speed to make it a bit more in line with other sorcerer builds. Like, you know, nerfs is always a hot debate, but in some cases nerfs are necessary. And historically, Blizzard has a history of basically over-nerfing things. So I really hope that this is not going to happen to HotA Barb, and I really hope this is not going to happen to Ball Lightning Sorc. I hope we're going to see bug fixes and then reasonable nerfs to get it in line, because right now, if you're playing Barb or if you're playing Sorc, and if you want to compete in Abattoir of Zir, like, the only build you can play is literally Ball Lightning Sorc and HotA Barb. Like, nothing is even in the same universe right now, right? So there's definitely some adjustments here, I think, that could happen. Just to make other builds and more specs more viable and more fun to, well, just to try, basically. Sorry, I meant to delete this one. So next up, we have the Poison Shred Druid. So this one actually is turning out to be the fastest and highest clearing build. I think the fastest clear right now is about 4 minutes on the Shred, while HotA Barb remains about 5 minutes. So Poison Shred seems to be the strongest build, but only once you have a really high Tears of Blood. So Tears of Blood is going away with the Abattoir of Zir after the season ends. We already talked about that earlier. So the double dipping of the Tears of Blood is gone. And it's gonna feel like not as strong anymore. So for a lot of like beginner players and stuff that don't have a like triple digit TOB, let's say, Shred Druid feels weak. But on the high end, it is the strongest build. So gotta be really careful here what is done in the end. But I could see a change to the double dip mechanic of Blurred Beast and Stormclaw. It's not that I want this, but I could see it happen because it always has this potential to go completely crazy, especially looking into future season themes. If they add more generic multipliers, like the poison Shred Druid will always have it squared. You should probably say just Shred Druid, because it's also working with the Stormclaw aspect, which is lightning. So just always like square damage, and I don't know, I think it's a bit counterintuitive for people. But that again, like if it's changed, like Shreds needs a massive buff, like baseline. So I really hope they don't they don't destroy this build. Then we have the bug combo point rogue. I think every rogue on the Abattoir of Zir leaderboard is basically using the bug. I've not seen any like 20 plus clear that is not using the bugged interaction, where you have combo points, temerity, basically. Oh, it's time as well. sorry, Talbot's Will giving you 20 resources, and that gives you 20 combo points with the combination with the condemnation dagger. So this is like completely stupid. And obviously this will be, or I think it will be changed, because it just breaks the builds. It even breaks like the lucky hit, like people are reaching like, 2000% lucky hit chance and stuff. So I'm thinking this will be changed, and then maybe we'll see some buffs, especially to the ranged rogues. I would love to see finally a season where Twisting Blade is not reigning supreme from the start. Like a ranged rogue, I think would be very cool. I mean, the pen shot and stuff with like all the build switching shenanigans they did on Abattoir of Zir, they did clear 25, and it's a very strong build, but it's just so many switches and like this is so much weird, unintuitive stuff. I would just really like to see like a solid ranged rogue build and a very good comparison to the Twisting Blade power right now. Then we come to the Necromancer here. A tier, I have Infinimist. I think the Necromancer in general needs a massive buff. Looking at the current leaderboards, let me take a look. So Necromancer, like we only like looking at solo clears. The highest Necromancer clear is at 21, while everybody else already cleared 25. So yeah, the Necro seems very weak right now in comparison to all the other classes. And I think there have been a lot of nerfs to Necro, especially to Bone Spear. It has been nerfed like, I think like 3 times. And I could see like the ossified essence here that got nerfed like crazy. It was a bit too much, I think. It's still going to be a very solid starter build. It's one of the strongest leveling builds. But man, it's been nerfed like so many times. Similar to the Whirlwind Barb. Like basically like this over nerfing. We're going to talk about Whirlwind Barb later as well. Is basically happening here. So yeah, I think they should probably revert some nerfs, or just at least give some love to the Necromancer, man. I think the entire class needs like a buff, especially the pet builds. I'm going to talk about this class as a whole, because we have the pet Necromancer and Druid, and all the pet builds, like they need a massive buff to be viable. I think the Mendel Necromancer in particular was so fun to play in Season 1. I played it with the Barber Gem, and it was cool, man. It was so much fun with the skeletons and the mages, like all the pets basically. But it was nerfed to the ground. Again, just like over nerfing, like all the way to F tier basically. So I really hope we're gonna see some creative ways and big buffs to the pet Necromancer and pet builds on Druid as well in general. Will be super cool to see. Yeah, so then we have like some of the like A tier Barb builds, Upheaval, Deathblow, Double Swing. I think they are mostly fine, these 3. They are all powerful builds, and if HotA comes down a bit, I think they are all like somewhat competitive. Obviously, all the builds have some small issues, like Upheaval. The animation of Upheaval still feels a bit clunky. Deathblow, you still feel a bit weird with the cooldown reduction. Double Swing still doesn't really have the biggest area of effect. But this is like, advantages and disadvantages of each build. I think like mostly overall, I think they seem fine. Then I think another build here in A tier is Lash Sorc, but after the ball lightning changes, I think this one will be fine as well. And you notice already, I'm going to focus a lot more on Barb than on the other classes. Like this is not a complete tier list, like it never was, because I mainly play Barb, but I also mainly play meta. So I basically played every build here in S tier, but the Rogue, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of this kind of stuff. Yeah, Blizzard Sorc I think is also mostly fine. It's still a very, very strong build. It might even be potential to go to A tier. If Ball Lightning comes down, it's going to be very compatible here. And then yeah, Pulverized Druid I think needs a massive buff. In any high level content, it just falls off so fast. I've played quite a few hours of Pulverized as well, but it just doesn't work in high end game content when you can't kill stuff fast enough. When your overpowers don't work and then you run out of them, it's bad. Like with Barb, we kind of had a solution where we could weapon switch to make more overpowers, but on Pulverize it doesn't really work that well. And then yeah, Tornado, Pet Nado, like these are cool builds, but they are like too weak. Stormclaw as well, very fun to play, but man, they're just too weak. And their Bone Spear we already talked about. Too many nerfs happened. I hope we're gonna see some buffs. And then yeah, like the F tier, like not a good idea to play this. This is like mainly Barb and pet builds. So I feel like Whirlwind Barb, like that's a big one. Man, it's so sad. Like, Whirlwind used to be such an amazing build, but yeah, I don't know how many nerfs we had to that build. Probably like 6 nerfs or something. And yeah, right now, it doesn't even work with like half your offensive stuff. Like, Whirlwind itself seems more like a support skill right now. So right now in the current meta, it's used, but it's only used because it gives you Fury. and because it moves you through the monsters, and because it can't overpower, right? Like it doesn't even overpower. So I think a good way to also, you know, like let the HotA buff come a bit down is to change Whirlwind. I think Whirlwind should, I don't understand the reason. Why does Whirlwind not work with attack speed? Like you have 15% attack speed here. You have attack speed here. Like there's just Ravenous, like there's just so much attack speed, and Whirlwind just doesn't work with any of it. It's completely stupid. It only works with your base weapon attack speed. And I don't understand the reason why it would not work with your normal attack speed. It would be a cool way, an additional way to scale your Whirlwind damage. Whirlwind Spin to Win is a community, fan favorite, iconic Barbarian build. I think that should always have a place at least. Doesn't have to be overpowered completely, but like, you know, like a solid build. And right now it can't be, because Crit has been nerfed, Vulnerable has been nerfed, and the only thing that's crazy buffed is Overpower, and Whirlwind doesn't even overpower. Like, you know, you could just calculate the chance on every tick or something, right? Or even if it would snapshot, it wouldn't be crazy. At least with the current way. And then also the Ring of Red Furore is also a massive L, because this one just excludes many builds. You have Hammer of the Ancients, Upheaval, Deathblow. If you want to play anything else, well, you're out of luck. No Red Furore for you. And that's also it's also the big problem for Whirlwind. So half your offensive multipliers and buffs don't work, and it's basically turned out to be more of a support skill. So I'm not really happy with this. I really hope we're gonna see some cool Whirlwind buffs, man. I think the player base would really be hyped for that. Yeah, then we have Thorns Barb. Like, Thorns Barb is kind of like a very unique build, but it's also pretty weak. And also one of the reasons that it's weak, it doesn't scale with Overpower, it doesn't scale with Crit and all that stuff. And I don't know, like, why not make it scale with Overpower? Like, you know, they hit you, there's a 3% chance it's gonna overpower. Or they hit you and it's gonna be guaranteed to overpower. And then 20 seconds cooldown, like, or something. I don't know, I feel like this is just a missed opportunity here with Thorns. Yeah, then we have the Leap Barb. I'm just gonna, like, quickly go over these. We have additional ways to reduce cooldown. I think it would be way better to have, like, you know, either some guaranteed cooldown reduction and, like, some more ways to proc your Earthquake. Like, it would be really cool to have, like, a viable Leap Quake Barbarian, similar to the way we had it in Diablo 3. I think it's also a super cool build, lots of potential wasted. Right now, everybody's just a HotA Barb, basically. And this is not by choice for many people. They just play HotA Barb because it's just, like, you know, 100 times better than Leap Barb is. And that's a big problem. So Leap Barb needs to come up a lot, and all these builds need to come up a lot. Then we have the Rand Barb. So there is a super cool passive, Gushing Wounds. But this one, it says X. It basically makes your bleed scale with all your crit multipliers, but it doesn't work. It's basically just additive damage as far as I could test it. It's very hard to test this properly, but it's not a separate multiplier. So even if you're playing a bleed build, you're still playing Unbridled Rage, because Gushing Wounds does not work. It's not a separate multiplier. So a fix to that could help the build a lot, because, you know, even the bleed builds don't play the bleed key passive. It's fucking stupid. So I really hope they're gonna, like, change this. Yeah, then we have the Frenzy Barb. I think this one is a cool build, but it really needs an AoE component. It was fine in Season 1 when we had the Barber. But yeah, we don't really have the Barber anymore. And right now, Frenzy is just single target. I think there would be really cool ways, similar to what they did with Diablo 3. I think they introduced, like, a two-handed legendary that you could use that makes, like, every 10th attack of Frenzy an AoE proc or something. Just, like, some way to basically take some of the Frenzy damage and make it proc in an area of effect. That'd be cool. And then, yeah, massive pet buffs. I have a few more nice to haves. Obviously, there's more builds here in the tier list, but I can't cover them all out. There's a lot to say, but the video would be so long. I have a couple of nice to haves. There's also, like, super, like, many more points here probably on that list, but social features would be really cool, like a sort of, like, group finder or anything. I always hear people, you know, like, how do you find people to play with? Like, how can I, you know, find friends in the game and stuff? And it is hard, because the game offers you zero support. And this just goes hand in hand with the next point here, where the clan system is just like way too bare bones. Like you can't do almost anything in this clan. Like there is like a message of the day, like, but the problem is, let's say on join requests, like I can't even right click and inspect this guy's profile or something. I don't see, for example, how long people have been offline and stuff, because we've really been trying to, like, you know, build an in-game clan called Good Game, GG, but it's just super difficult because, like, there's just basic features. This is like super duper bare bones. Like you can almost do nothing. And I just really wish there will be, you know, just some more social features, man, to allow players to find friends and find like-minded players just to play with. And then, yeah, UI, buff bar, like this has also been hard to deal with, basically. There is, like, just looking at my buff bar, for example, like half my buff bar is just taken with you know, buffs that you kind of always want to have on a high tier. And then you have Disobedience, and you have like a HotA buff, then you have Ravenous, and then there would be another icon for Berserking. There would be another icon for whenever I have Warcry. There would be another icon, okay, Challenging Shout, you see here. There would be another icon for Rallying Cry. There would be another icon for my key passive. There would be another icon for my Paragon, sorry, not key passive. There would be one icon for Carnage. There would actually be 2 icons for Decimator. There would be one more icon for Banished Lord stacks. There would be another icon for Earth Striker. So we are not even close. Like, this is not even showing half my buffs. And, you know, the buff bar doesn't expand. So I can't even see any of my buffs. Because what would be really nice to know is which element cycle am I at, similar to the convention of elements in Diablo 3. Like, you just have no idea what cycle is, and you can't tell. Like, there is like this color here around you, but you can't see it in a big pool. So realistically, I have no idea. Like, okay, now I know if my Wrath the Berserking is up, but I have no idea in general, like how many stacks I'm at, like how many Banished Lord stacks, how many Earth Striker stacks. Like, you can't keep track. You don't know how many how far your convention of element is in the rotation and stuff. Like, you basically are missing crucial information to min-max and play the game on a better level. And I think this is like a huge problem. And then, I mean, there's like trading and like just PvP. There's so much stuff in general that can be improved. But yeah, this is just like some of the predictions. I mean, this is like nice to have. I don't think this is going to happen yet. But a lot of this here, again, is confirmed, and a lot of it is hopes, and I think things that would be really good for the game. And this is just like the icing on the cake kind of thing. But yeah, I really hope they will not over-nerf things, and I hope to see buffs, in particular to the entire Necromancer class and pet builds. That would be cool, guys. Hope you enjoyed this overview. We'll see what's going to happen here next week, probably. News to share soon. I mean, again, the season is starting 23rd, so that's in exactly 2 weeks from now. So we're definitely going to hear, I guess, this week, and then I think we're going to have the dev stream like somewhere around next week, and then the season will start the week later, just like it's confirmed literally in the game here. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. I'll keep you updated. Hope you had a great time. Take care, my friends. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.